And welcome to the Cardinals Nest. This is the show where we talk St. Mary's University athletics. My name is Dean Beckman, the faculty athletics representative for the Cardinals. My co-host, as always, is Donny Nadeau, our sports information director. This is our first show of 2022. Last time it was December. We were getting ready for Christmas, and now we're already looking ahead, hopefully soon, to much warmer weather and some of the spring sports. But we are still in the winter sports season. And our guest today will be the head men's basketball coach, Joe Fano. But Donnie, before we get to that, I think we should call out the elephant in the room, or should I say the Zoom. We are back virtually on the Cardinals Nest, not in the Pat and Jerry Pappenfuss Multimedia Lab in Aquinas Hall, but hey, however we got to do the show, that's how we'll do the show, right?
Yeah, and I got to apologize to Coach Fano because I promised him he would be in person when we did the Cardinals Nest with him. So sorry, Coach, but we've got to do what we've got to do, and we certainly will get you in that awesome studio that we have now, and get to do one in person as we talk later on in the season as well.
For sure, sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Well, Joe, let's get to your season here a little bit. I'm glad to see that you've still got plenty of hair left, because you have had so many close games this season. I saw your average margin of point difference in your games was 5. So that tells me you're having a lot of close wins and some close losses as well. So kind of give us your perspective on the season so far, now that we're about halfway through.
Well, I can say, Dean, you might have to get your eyes checked, because if you look closer, I'm losing my hair. So, but yeah, it's been, we haven't been blown out very, but we're in every game. I mean, our guys play hard, but yeah, every game is a nail biter. But the good news is for that is we haven't really been out of any games. We've been, we're fighting till the end, and sometimes it comes our way and sometimes it hasn't.
Dean talked about talking about the elephant in the room, and that being that we're on Zoom. But, it's been such a challenge. We talked about this last year with you in that, in this COVID era, everything is a challenge. And I know you and I have had conversations that there's so much more that you have to do besides coach basketball when it comes to just trying to prepare for the next day. Can you just kind of talk about the challenges that you as a coach face in terms of, getting ready for practice and getting ready for games? Because really, every day is a new day.
Yeah, it's been rough. We've had we've played 12, 13 games. We've had 2 players playing every game. So there's been a lot of times where we don't know who's practicing, who isn't practicing, who's going to be at the game, who isn't. We're going to Las Vegas, and we find out literally half hour before the game that one of our guys is out, and so it's like now we're playing guys that haven't practiced, and we're not very cohesive. But really, to answer your question, is kind of like what we just did with the Zoom call, right? I talked to my guys yesterday about adapt, and I think that's what really we kind of have to do, is just be ready to adapt every day, and know that it can be. Things change every day, or less than that. Things are changing by the hour at times. So adapt, I guess, is kind of the key that I guess I'm telling my team and myself too. I have to be better with that, and just not let things frustrate me, and then that affects my team. And so I guess a long answer is adapt.
You talk about your lack of cohesiveness when you have different people in the lineup, but you've got to feel at least a little more positive in that you have the depth, and not just a number of people, but you've got a lot of talent. So at least if somebody is not in the lineup and you replace them, you've got somebody that's got some talent there. Now, like you said, you don't have the cohesiveness you may have had they been working together all season, but you do have the talent to be able to, next man up, so to speak.
Yeah, we're fortunate in that respect, where we do have guys that can come in and play. The biggest problem with us is consistency. There's times, throughout a game we look really good, and then there's times we look like we've never picked up a basketball before. So it's just that's the frustrating part with, and I think that comes with, we're playing with a young team as well. We have a lot of guys out there who are freshmen and sophomores, and quite frankly, some of our sophomores are in a lot of ways freshmen, with only playing 8 games, being shut down as long as we were last year. It's more than, to me, just the games. It's, our current sophomores didn't have a lot of practice time last year. So it was just in learning our system. And by that now they're much better with that now, but it still takes time and learn to play with each other and knowing each other's strengths. And, we talk a lot about know your personnel defensively in our scouts, but I also talk about to them is we have to know our personnel on our own team. And it's what guys on our own team can do well and what they can't do well, and putting them in the right positions. And a lot of that comes with just being at practice all the time and just getting used to playing with each other, which has been a little bit of a struggle for us this year.
Well, Joe, a lot of people don't like to talk about what happened in Vegas, but we are going to talk about what happened in Vegas because you went out there sort of over the holiday break and went 1-1 and faced a couple of really good teams out there. So tell us about your Vegas trip. First of all, how that all came about. And then other than almost not getting there due to delayed planes, how the 2 games you participated in went out there.
Well, I think 8 hours is or maybe it was 7 or 8 hours. Well, that's somewhere the magic number because we were delayed in the airport for about 7 to 8 hours. And then it took us about 7.5 hours to get to Concordia the other day. So I guess we're getting used to it. St. John's tomorrow is going to feel like it's a short trip, but to your question about Vegas, it came about was we were supposed to go to Florida last year with COVID, but obviously with COVID that got canceled. So the D3 Hoops folks over there run their tournament in Las Vegas, and I contacted them about trying to get in. We went back and forth, and anyways, we were able to make it to Las Vegas. I just felt with, quite frankly, with Raheem, I wanted him to play in front of kind of a national stage at our level, and to play in front of those guys to give him a chance to prove himself, along with, with a team that I knew would compete. And we played really well. We had some adversity on the way up there I thought we were going to go with this team, and all of a sudden we're playing different guys here and there, but we ended up going 1-1. But I think the guys had a great experience. They got to kind of see us coaches, I think, outside the court a little bit and meet our significant others and all that. And I think it was fun, and I think they had a good time.
Joe, one of the things that you mentioned when we talked about that trip was the setup itself, in that you were in a hotel where the courts were literally in the same building. Talk a little bit about that feel, because I know you had said that it really felt kind of like, a Division I atmosphere, in that, you left the hotel room, you walked to the gym, and just kind of a neat experience that way.
Yeah, they D3 Hoops did a great job with the hospitality and all of that. And yeah, I mean, the arena was in the hotel, so it was nice. I mean, you would just kind of, if the game's at 5:00, you kind of get dressed in the hotel room and you walk right there and you're at the game in 5 minutes. It was, they had a nice room for us to watch our film and do our scouts. It just made you feel a part of something a little bit bigger. And I think the guys really liked it. The arena was really nice. Just the whole thing. It was just a great experience for them. And, they did some post game stuff with the guys and all that. And it was good. It was a good experience.
Well, Joe, you talked about wanting to get Raheem Anthony on kind of a national stage, and that certainly provided that for him. But the season he's having is nothing short of incredible. 18 plus points a game. And he's clearly the one that other teams are keying on as well. Talk a little bit about the season that Raheem is having.
Yeah, I mean, he's matured so much since his freshman year. I can't even begin to tell you. He's just, he came in, he was kind of quiet, he was quiet. He was kind of kept to himself, and now he's being a lot more vocal, not only in practice, but just the locker room. He's being more vocal. He's speaking up after games. He's kind of joking around on the bus, and he's just up laughing. So I think he's finally coming into his own, and it's affecting, I think, his play in a good way. I just think he's comfortable. He's settled in, and he's now just going out playing basketball. And what Raheem is, we've tried to tell him, really since his freshman year is the motto with him has been next play, next play. Because I'm sure you've noticed in over the years that he that bothers him sometimes, and he will shut down a little bit, and he will just and then I'm like, all right, next play, next play, next play, and he's been a lot better with that, and it's really showed in his play. He's been more consistent this year than he's ever been, and he's our leader, and he's been our best player all year, and we need him to be that way for us to be any good.
Do you ever sit there during a game and watch him and then think to yourself, man, am I glad we don't have to figure out how to stop him? Because there are times that he literally is unstoppable.
Well, when he's on his game, he is. There's not many people that can guard him at our level. He's just, he's just so big and strong and quick. He's just, it's just when he's getting to the rim, I always tell him, get your shoulders square when you go to the rim. If you get your shoulders square, Raheem, you never miss. And he's gone in stretches where he's been doing that. Now he has gotten out of that a little bit the last couple of games, which we've talked about a little bit, but he's a phenomenal player for us. And again, for us to be where we want to be, he needs to be right where he's at right now.
And the reality too is that wherever he is, you need the rest of the players to be able to fill their roles and do what they need to do. Talk a little bit about some of the other players. And, there are several. I mean, I've loved watching Bruce Lockwood this year. I just think that, we didn't really get to see Bruce last year, like you said, with COVID. I think he's doing a great job. Owen Ziegler seems to be stepping into a nice role. Caden Freetley, I think defensively has done a phenomenal job. But talk a little bit about some of the other players that have impressed you this year.
Yeah, well, Caden's also one of our senior leaders, and he's been great all year. He's been defensively, yeah, he's been arguably our best defender. Him and Bruce and Hunter Phillips even have been a really, really good defender, stepping up their game. Hunter's a guy that we've asked to step up and play the 5 a little bit because Bruce has been out a lot this year. He's dealing with some injuries. He had a COVID issue. He had a concussion. So he's missed a lot of time for us again this year. So other guys have had to step up, and Hunter's done that. And Hunter was actually a guard in high school. So now he's a big body. He's long. He's gotten in the weight room, and now we're asking him to play the 5, and he's stepped up and done a nice job for us. Owen is our shooter. He's probably our smartest player, to be honest. Him and Raheem, it's just they make some great passes, and he's always in the right spots at the right time, and he's done a great job for us. Cam Mallory, a freshman, has really stepped up lately. Last few games, I think he's going to be really good once he really develops and gets in the weight room and gets a little matures and gets a little stronger. Brayton Beisman's another one who's done a really good job for us, who's a freshman. So, there's times I look, Jabari Sawyer has been great for us, filling in for, Raheem and Kareem at times. And there's times I look at the floor and I look at my assistant and I said, well, we got 3 freshmen, a sophomore and a senior out there, or a junior out there playing. Nick Falls is a junior, Raheem's a junior, but he only played in 8 games last year too. So it's like he's a sophomore in a lot of ways, eligibility wise. So I have to remind myself that we're a lot younger than I think we look, because I think we have some size and some talent. And Noah Frechette has been great for us, coming in last year as a transfer. So he's starting to find his way now, and he's only a freshman. So it's been challenging, but these guys have also really been stepping up and doing a good job in their roles.
Joe, of course, you've got a new assistant coach this year as well. Tell us about Danny Quinn.
Yeah, Danny comes from Loras College. He was an assistant over there, and he's done a great job for us so far this year. He's from Chicago, Maine South High School. So he's, doing a great job with scouting and recruiting and all that stuff, and meeting with the guys. And he's just kind of, he didn't come in guns blazing or anything like that. He just kind of came in, knows his role. And I think the guys are liking him, and he's been a great fit for us.
Joe, can you talk a little bit about, the changes that the MIAC made now? Any game that's COVID related where you can't play, it's now canceled game, not an automatic forfeit. But they also changed the format for the playoffs, where every team will get in. Just your thoughts on that, and how does it change your approach to the regular season?
I mean, you know, in our situation, Donnie, I think it does a little bit because of just everything that all the challenges that we've had this year with everything. So it's for us, it's about getting better every day and getting ready for the playoffs. You know, it's not fair to what's happened to a lot of teams throughout our league and throughout the country for that matter. So I'm okay with no forfeits and it's nobody's out trying to get COVID. So I mean, even you know, it happened against Davis. They played, you know, they got 2 games. All of a sudden they're 3-3, and then they're 3-5 because you know. So I don't think that's fair to our athletes and really you know anybody for that matter. So I'm okay with it. I think it. I just think now for us, it's, I guess, does it make the regular season less meaningful? I don't know. It depends how you look at it. But does it take the pressure off a little bit to make the playoffs? Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It probably does. So for us, it's get better every day. And we know once we can finally get healthy and get everybody there and clicking on the same cylinder, we know we can compete in our league. So for us, I'm shooting for, we need to be playing our best basketball in February. And if we do that, that's going to make up for a lot of the challenges that we've had or struggles that we're going through this year or up to this point.
Let's talk a little bit, Joe, about the conference itself. We always talk about how good the conference is, but it seems like this year the conference is much deeper than it has been in the past, and there are more teams that are you know competing in the upper half, so to speak. And obviously Augsburg and St. John's right now are above everybody else, but there are an awful lot of teams that are right in that pack that would be battling for that, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 spot in the playoffs had this been a regular year.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. It's definitely deep, that's for sure. There's never an easy game, and I think you know all the coaches in the league know that. Everybody has to come ready to play because anybody can beat anybody on any night if you're not playing well. And I think I haven't checked in a couple days, but I know at one point it was, I think it was, you know, anywhere from 3 all the way to 8 or 9. It was like a difference of 1 or 2 games where anybody can go anywhere. And that's probably changed a little bit. I think Carleton might have separated themselves a little bit at 3rd, but I think, but yeah, it's a very deep league, and we have to come ready to play every night. And we know that there's no games on our schedule that we can look at and say, oh, that's a win. Oh, that's a win. You know, it's just, that's not the case. We have to come ready to play. And we've been on the both sides of that throughout the years. I mean, there's probably been teams, you know, a couple of years ago that, oh, St. Mary's is a win. And it's not anymore. I mean, we were there not long ago where it was at the bottom of the league, and Concordia's got a good team now. They're a young team up and coming. McAllister. I mean, everybody. There's no easy wins in our league.
Joe, we've got about a month of the season left. I think February 19th is the final regular season contest. What have you talked to your team about? What are the things, the areas of improvement you need to see in the next month to get your team to where you think they should be heading into the playoffs?
We need to be more consistent, like I was saying, and just a better like urgency, rebounding the basketball, getting after the ball for a loose ball. And we started that yesterday. I flat out told my guys, I'm not no more. If guys are hurt, that's one thing, but the game soreness and all that stuff, we're moving past that, and we're going to start to really get after it here over the next month, because for the last month with, you know, aside from COVID, we come back from break and we had 5 or 6 games in a matter of, I don't even know how many days. Donnie, you probably know, but it's basically, and then you throw in 2 or 3 guys that are nursing injuries. It's basically, we have a shoot around. We're on the court for 45 minutes, and then we're going to our scout in film, and then we're off the floor because we got a game the next day. So there's only so much we can do. But now I told them the other day that there's no more of that, and you're going to have to get tough and get through it and fight through the game soreness, and that's the end of it. So, and we're going to get better by the end of the year, and that's the bottom line.
You know, one of the things that you have mentioned a couple of times, and you know, I think is really interesting, and maybe it's changed over the years, but talk a little about preparation, about your scouts, about, you know, using Huddle as a video share, because I think that preparation for games has changed a lot over the years, and you have more opportunity to maybe prepare yourself for a specific team because you have the ability to use video, or you have the ability to get out and scout teams. Talk a little bit about preparation for a game.
We use Synergy, not Huddle. So
Okay.
Synergy is it's the same software that the NBA and all the division, pretty much all levels are doing it. Well, the highest levels are doing it. So it's great. I mean, it's a click of the button, and you can find pretty much everything you need and want. It's, excuse me, whether it's you click on Dean Beckman, and you can click on 25 missed shots and 25 made shots, and you can just like that, and you can see it right in front of you. Assists, turnovers, defensive possessions, and then you can clip them all. And that's kind of how we do it. I like to keep film around 15 to 20 minutes, no more than that. Really no more than 20, because I think after 20 minutes, the eyes start to wander, and you kind of lose focus. But that's kind of our preparation, is we put together about 5, 6, 7 clips of each player in that's getting significant minutes, and then we go into their defensive scheme, and then their offensive clips, and then we go out on the court, and we kind of mimic what they do, and then that's how we prepare for each game. And we usually like to talk about the team the day before, or even 2 days before, sometimes depending on the opponent or how many off days we have. But that's pretty much what we do on a daily basis.
And that's where the challenge becomes with all the games that you play. It's a little harder to do that, isn't it? Because you don't have that, like this week, for example, you play Wednesday, you play Saturday. At least you have the 2 games in between. But you've had weeks where you go Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, Monday. I mean, it's at this time of the year, it's crazy, and probably a little bit harder to maybe be as prepared as you possibly can be.
Yeah, that's hard when you have those Sunday, the Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. That's a tough one to do. But the good thing though is with that is when you play everybody in your league twice, the second time around, a lot of the busy work is already done then, because all you're doing is filling in a stat here or there, and then a lot of teams, if the clips are staying the same, I mean, we mix them up and we watch the newer games, but a lot of that stuff then is already done, and we can just kind of fill it in here and there. So it does get a little bit easier as we go along. But yeah, those 3-4 games in a week, those are the tough ones, and it's a lot of time. And Danny's done a great job with that. It's a lot more time than you think, and it's a lot of hours especially with it's basketball coaches we're all nuts. So it's film is watching games and tape is a big thing in our sport, and we need to do it in order to be competitive.
Joe, I'm curious to know what's the percentage difference between watching your opponent's clips and then watching your previous game's clips?
Well, that's a good question, Dean. I've learned as a head coach, you know what I never do before I go to bed? I do not watch us play, because I'll be up all night driving myself crazy. So I tend to watch the other team a lot more, I think. And then during the day, I'll watch more of our clips.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say it's, I'd say pretty close to 50-50, or maybe 60-40 on the other team. I would say that's pretty fair, but like I said, I don't watch my team play at night anymore. I've learned that.
Well, and I know Donnie's glad that you're the one that said basketball coaches are crazy, so that way he didn't.
Did you notice I wasn't arguing either? Hey, Joe, I got an odd question for you. You have spent a lot of time on bus rides, and now you've got another one tomorrow, going up to St. John's. What's your favorite bus movie?
It's funny. We don't watch movies on the bus.
Really?
No, we're all focused, Donnie. We're laser focused.
Oh no, you're not. You 7 hours to Concordia. You're not focused for 7 hours.
Well, that's true. What I do is, honest to God, we don't watch movies.
Yeah,
we really don't. So I don't have one. They are on their phones, or they're sleeping, or doing homework, or singing Adele, or whatever they're doing in the back of the bus.
Well, that brings up my question. Since you've started head coaching, or even as your time as an assistant, how have the music taste changed of your players? And do you still fall in line with some of their likes?
No, I don't know who any of the people are that they like anymore. I'm officially old, Dean. I mean, I shouldn't say I know some of them, but the most of them I don't know. And they were all, they got to know my girlfriend in Vegas a little bit. And what we did was when we were in Vegas, we had to take Ubers, and because there was no transportation, and we each had to ride. I had him ride with me, Danny, my girlfriend, and his girlfriend, and they all got to basically quiz them and get to know us. And they asked my favorite music, and my girlfriend spilled the beans and said I like Dave Matthews Band, and so they were making fun of me for liking Dave Matthews. So yeah, that's a far cry from Rod Wave and whoever else it is that they like.
Yeah, you can't argue with you can't argue that my taste in music is definitely different than their taste in music.
Yeah.
All right. Donnie, anything else for Joe?
Oh, he ruined my movie question, so I don't have anything else.
Sorry. Yeah, I wish I yeah, it's funny you say that. It's somebody else asked me the other day, "Are you guys watching?" I'm like, and then I look up at I'm like, no, we're not watching anything. So, oh well. Sorry.
So we've got a little over a month of the season left. So best of luck as the season progresses here, and we know good things are still to come for the men's basketball team.
Thanks, Dean, and thanks, Donnie. Thanks again for doing this. You guys both do a great job. I know it's a fun little thing to do with you guys, and I look forward to doing it again.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, that's Joe Fano, our men's basketball coach here at St. Mary's. That's going to do it for the Cardinals Nest. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.